Djokovic and Sinner 6 Kings slam Riyadh 2025, epic semifinal clash. Under the desert lights. In the velvet shroud of Riyadh's desert night, where floodlights carve rivers of gold through the endless sands and ancient stars bear witness to mortal fire, can a master, crowned by decades of dominion, meet his mirror in a young heir? Their clash not just of rackets, but of eras entwined, testing the fragile thread between legacy and longing. October 16th, 2025, breathed life into the ANB Arena, the Six Kings Slam's opulent heart amid Saudi Arabia's Riyadh season, a festival where dunes whisper of endurance and the air hums with the Oud's haunting call. This exhibition, a coliseum for tennis's anointed, Carlos Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner, Novak Djokovic, Taylor Fritz, Stefanos Tsitsipas, and Alexander Zverev, unfolded as a tapestry of triumph and tribute, each point a brushstroke in a portrait of the sport's soul, where $6 million gleamed not as prize, but as prism for deeper glories. The semifinals beckoned like a siren song, the arena a cauldron of polished hard courts under lights that banished shadow, drawing a congregation from the four winds. Locals in flowing thobes, Europeans clutching scarves of national hue, Americans with fervent flags, their faces illuminated by the glow of shared reverence. Djokovic, the 38-year-old Serb with 24 Grand Slams etched into his sinew, entered as the eternal sentinel, his form a quiet question after recent whispers of wear. Sinner, the 24-year-old Italian defender of this very throne, arrived honed by Shanghai's cruel interlude, his red mane a banner of reclaimed resolve. Please like, share, and subscribe for more Sport Talk content. The duel dawned with the subtlety of embers stirring to flame. Sinner's serves, laser-guided arrows, 81% first strikes landing like fate's decree, probing Djokovic's legendary returns, each rally a dialogue of defiance and deference. The crowd, a mosaic of held breaths and flickering phone screens, leaned into the fray, their murmurs swelling as the first set teetered, the Serbs' backhand slicing like a scimitar, only for the Italians' forehand to counter with the precision of a desert falcon, the score etching 6-4 in Sinner's favor amid a hush that deepened into thunderous applause. Yet it was the second set that unveiled the emotional maelstrom, Djokovic summoning ghosts of Australian dawns and Wimbledon dusks, his movement a poetry of persistence. Breaking Sinner's serve at love in the third game, the arena erupting in a roar that shook the rafters. Nole! Nole! As if invoking the old gods of the baseline. Sinner, unyielding, whispered to his coach Darren Cahill during the changeover, "He's the mountain. I climb, not conquer." His words a private vow caught in the ether, the crowd sensing the shift, their cheers a bilingual balm for the warrior's hidden tolls. The set's fulcrum fractured in the fifth game, a marathon rally spanning 28 strokes, Djokovic lunging for a drop shot that kissed the net's edge, only for Sinner to volley it back with venomous grace, the ball whispering past the Serb's desperate stretch. Time suspended. Djokovic sprawled, rising with a gaze that bridged mentor and measure, locking eyes with Sinner across the net, a silent symposium of respect and reckoning, the Italian nodding faintly, as if acknowledging the weight of the crown he now grasped. The arena, once a cauldron, became a cathedral of awe, the crowd surging to their feet not in partisan fury, but in unified ovation, waves of sound crashing like the Red Sea's tide, tears tracing paths down cheeks weathered by years of fandom. "That's tennis," a father murmured to his son in the stands, clutching a faded Djokovic cap, while across the divide, an Italian flag bearer whispered, "He's passing the flame." The moment, raw and radiant, transcended the scoreboard, Sinner sealing 6-2 with an ace that echoed like a benediction, the final point drawing gasps that bloomed into reverence. In that victory's hush, Djokovic approached the net, his embrace lingering, a pat on Sinner's back heavy with unspoken legacy. "You've got it all, kid. Keep guarding it." The crowd's roar softened to a swell of empathy, strangers turning to one another with wide-eyed wonder, as if witnessing not defeat, but a coronation veiled in velvet. The desert lights casting halos on two figures who had danced this rite before, now etched deeper in eternity's scroll. As the confetti settled like golden manna, the clash's afterimage rippled across the digital dunes, Netflix streams looping the rally's fury for a global vigil, clips of Sinner's aces and Djokovic's dive amassing millions in mere hours. On X, Djokovic-Sinner epic trended like a mirage made steel, fans from Belgrade to Bolzano flooding feeds. Novak's heart in every stretch, Sinner honors it with fire. One post garnered echoes worldwide. Hearts pulsing in pixels of pride and passage. Broadcasters from Eurosport to ESPN paused their reels, voices hushed with the gravity of scribes. This wasn't a semifinal, it was succession, a pundit reflected, her tone laced with the awe of one charting myths. Serbian outlets framed Djokovic's grace as the elder's eternal gift, while Italian screens hailed Sinner's poise as the air's quiet roar. Each narrative a thread binding personal odyssey to collective chronicle. The story cascaded through Riyadh's vibrant souks and distant piazzas, where patrons over mint teas and macchiatos dissected the duel. Djokovic fell, but lifted us all, a local elder said, his words carrying the timbre of Bedouin lore. Fan reactions crystallized in viral vignettes, a child mimicking Sinner's serve in the arena's glow, a tweet from Alcaraz, "Masters at work, inspired." Social media's symphony amplified the emotional core, turning a desert duel into a diaspora of dreams. Culturally, the Six Kings Slam wove into Riyadh's renaissance, where Saudi sands cradled Europe's baseline ballet, echoing the nomadic endurance of ancient caravans under starlit vaults. Historically, it evoked Borg's stoic stands and Sampras's tearful bows. But here, amid ANB's modern splendor, Djokovic and Sinner's semifinal layered the exhibition's lore, a bridge from the Riviera's whimsy to Arabia's austere ambition, where mentorship blooms in the barren hour. In the event's lingering sands, the clash resonated with the Arab veneration of succession. The father's mantle passed not in sorrow, but in solemn stride, framing the players as dervishes of destiny. Last year's Sinner Djokovic prelude had whispered promise. This, its crescendo, invited the tribe to behold how such spectacles, once ephemera, now harbor the heart's heaviest hymns, legacies kindled in the kiln of non-mandatory might. Fans in dawn-lit forums from Dubai to Dublin pondered the poetry. Sinner's win isn't eclipse, it's evolution. Novak's light endures in his shadow. The spread transcended tallies, becoming a cultural confluence that drew tennis's faithful into communion, where a single stare across the net mirrors the multitude's unspoken yearnings for yield and youth. What revelations stir from this desert diptych, where the master's measured fall meets the air's ascending arc? There forms a fresco of fortitude and farewell. It murmurs of humanity's tender tether. The way Djokovic's dive, born of decades' defiance, reminds us that even titans touch earth. Vulnerability, the quiet verse in victory's anthem. In their epic, we glimpse sportsmanship's sacred hearth. Sinners nod not conquest's sneer, but reverence's ripple. The Italians' triumph, a tapestry woven with the Serbs' silken strands, where rivalry resolves into right, competition coaxing the compassion that crowns us kin. It beseeches the spirit. In our own twilight tussles, do we grasp the scepter alone or extend a hand to the dawn that follows? This moment unveils legacy's luminous loom, how a semifinal script can transmute temporal toil into timeless testament. Djokovic's grace, a lodestar for the weathered, Sinner's surge, a spark for the sapling. It summons reflection on character as the court's concealed codex, inscribed not by ink, but by the incline of a head, the clasp of a hand across the divide. The emotional insight delves to the quick, bearing mentorship's melancholy melody. Djokovic honoring his Shanghai specter by yielding whole. Sinner saluting his predecessor's pantheon with unfeigned fervor. Here, in the arena's interlude hush, we behold heritage reborn, the old world's unbowed arch yielding to the new's nascent nave, yet ferrying forth the flame of fealty that forges epochs. It echoes the human voyage, where such semifinals summon solidarity from strife, bidding lives laced with such luminous longevity, values like veneration in the vanquished gaze, valor in the veiled concession, ever efflorescing against the effigy of ephemeral scores. In this Riyadh reverie, we discern a looking glass to our collective cadence. What if our profoundest passings are the pivots that perpetuate, not perish, the pursuit? As the arena's amber fades into memory's mist, this clash compels a contemplative close. Legacy flourishes not from flawless facades, but from the valiant vulnerability of a veteran met by the modest might of the morrow, entwining elder and emergent in the exquisite ephemera of endeavors that endure. In the ANB's hushed annex, Djokovic draped a towel like a toga of twilight, his voice a resonant rumble to Netflix's gaze. Jannik didn't just beat me. He echoed the best of what I've chased, pure, relentless. At 38, these moments sting sweet, reminding me the game's guardian shifts, but the guardianship That's eternal. Sinner, trophies gleam yet unborn, but victory's warmth aglow, confided courtside with a humility that hushed the room. Novak's every shot was a lesson etched in sweat. Winning here, it's weighty, not winged. Gratitude for the giant who made the path and the grace to walk it beside him. Cahill, Sinner's steadfast sentinel, murmured in a shadowed sidebar. Jannik's semifinal wasn't solo. It was symphony with Novak's shadow. From Shanghai's stumble to this stride, growth graces the grateful, not the greedy. Later, beneath the arena's arching exit, Djokovic texted Sinner amid the throng, "Your fire fuels the future, brother. That rally? A reminder, rackets rest but respect rallies on." Sinner's reply, etched in evening's ink, "And your depth deepens it all, Novak. Heirs honor by holding the line you drew." Alcaraz, awaiting in the final's wing, added his fraternal flourish. Epic from both, Sinner's serve, Novak's soul. Riyadh's richer for it. Their voices, verdant as the court's verdigris, unveiled evolution's elegant ellipse, humility in the harvest, vista in the vale. As Riyadh's rhythms recede into the dune's dreamy drift, this semifinal stands as a stellar legacy, a codex of kinship where Djokovic and Sinner's swords crossed not to cleave, but to kindle. Their encounter an ember that illumes tennis's infinite ingress. It signifies sentiment's sublime forge, unvarnished urgency yielding to unity, the semifinals saga as the serve that summons souls, affirming that afar from the ANB's azimuth, these instances intimate of an ampler arena, where hearts, not halls, harvest the homage. And in that intimacy, we glean galvanic grace, to greet our own epochs of exchange with such sovereign serenity, revering the rubric of those who dueled and dawned afore, ferrying forth a legacy that luminesces everlasting in the spirit's steadfast